Welcome back, everybody. Last time we left off with Wei Zhao. So we still have Dan Heng, Sushang and Moze to do. Another thing that I will also be doing is the Divergent universe is getting an update soon, so I will be doing the Divergent universe parts like Elation, The Hunt, Destruction Erudition. Like, I will read all of those. I'll try and get all of the 1 out of 2 parts finished to 2 out of 2. Can't promise anything, I'll be able to do it before it finishes though. So I'll probably record bit by bit, and if I don't have the part for it, I will read it from the website. Just the official wiki, honkai.starrail.fandom.com. So, first things first, we'll go for Dan Heng. Dan Heng's story, character details. A cold and reserved young man who wields a spear known as Cloudpiercer. He acts as the express guard on its long trailblazing expedition. Dan Heng never talks much about his past. In fact, he joined the Express crew to escape from a past of his own making. But can the Express really help him outrun his past? As you can see, I don't have him leveled up to 80 yet. He used to be part of my main group together with the main character. His story itself you'll find out when you go to the Janzolufu. So character story part 1. A new dawn begins. It's just another extremely average day aboard this giant ship. The markets have just opened and the morning dew is still fresh, but the young man crossing the street has never seen such a sight. Before he manages to notice all the differences between the actual city and its descriptions in books, he is immersed in savoring the warmth of the sun on the back of his neck. It is his first time seeing his own body clearly. This body belongs to him. It belongs to this current name. When he arrives at the port, the escorting soldier removes the last of his shackles. He walks forward without looking back. He can feel, ever so faintly, several pairs of eyes gazing at him from within the city, eyes filled with hatred. It isn't until the spaceship takes off that he turns his head and takes one final look at this place. It really is a magnificent and grand spaceship, just like the books say. He only glances at it once, then turns his head away to where the stars shimmer dimly in an ancient, uncertain future lies. He looks out in silence. Character story part 2. A new dawn begins. He steps off one IPC spaceship, then boards another. He'd never even heard of the ship's destination, but that doesn't matter. There is nowhere he particularly wants to go. His only goal is to get as far as possible from his past, from his home. On these spaceships, people come and go all the time. None of the IPC crew cares who he is so long as he can work. He has changed his appearance and might no longer be recognized, but he knows that same power still lurks within him, unable to be shaken off no matter where he goes. This power drags him down, slows him, tries to overwhelm him, and makes him unable to escape his past. He has to be careful. But he still can't shake off the man with the beastly eyes. If others in his homeworld felt hatred toward him, then that man only has a killing intent toward him. Even the spaceships he had traveled on were all annihilated. That man had died before him but would reappear soon after. Outside his homeworld, there's a larger world where anything is possible. So he's being chased by somebody or something. Oh. Character story part 3. A new dawn begins. He boards another spaceship and the passengers are all wearing different masks. He nearly has his memory stolen and is forced to listen to a lecture that sounded like mad ramblings. He knows that huge monsters prowl upon this route, but he could only find a way towards survival by traveling along the most dangerous of roads. He defeats the huge monsters and disembarks at the next port. He thinks he could remain undetected among the countless ships, but he is stopped by a red-haired woman. She salutes him and thanks, saying she is with one of the ships he had rescued. He's about to turn and leave when he sees a parked train besides the red-haired woman. Where's your next stop? Haven't decided yet. Then, would you like to board our express? We're retracing our previous journey, there's so much to see all over again. We need a guard. And an archiver. You can get off at any time once you made up your mind on where to go. Alright, he responds. Character story part 4 is unlocked at level 80. A new dawn begins. He rubs his eyes, realizing it had been too long since he had such a good night's sleep. He considers himself as only staying temporarily and refused the room specially prepared for him, making a simple bed on the floor of the archives. However, he stayed up all night reading the Databank. At some point, he drifted off to sleep. He opened the door to find the conductor staying there, reprimanding him for staying up late. otherwise he'd miss out on a piping hot breakfast and would have wasted the care put into it. He nods and the conductor quiets down in satisfaction, wobbling as they lead him to the passenger car. The redhead woman, who he now knows is named Himeko, flashes him a smile. The brunette man to the other side, Mr. Young, remains silent despite appearing to have many questions on his mind. Before he knew it, he'd spent many a morning just like this. The process of revisiting the route is not easy, mostly due to the numerous roadblocks caused by Stellaron. Sometimes they would encounter the huge monsters he'd defeated before. They even found an enormous chunk of floating ice, encased in which was a living girl/boy. That's why he wasn't very surprised when he detected that the boy/girl, named Trailblazer, has an actual Stellaron seated inside their body. Dan Heng is, like, the story part of him is talking about meeting the Trailblazer, which is the main character of Honkai Star Rail. The reason why it says boy/girl is because at the start you can choose what you pick. Some of my friends have picked the male character, I myself have picked the female character. I'm going to show her real quick. This is how the female character looks. Grey hair, and she calls herself the Galactic Baseballer. Next character, Sushang. Character details. A naive and enthusiastic newcomer to the Cloud Knights who wields a greatsword. She yearns for the prehistoric legends of the Cloud Knights and is eager to become such a legendary figure herself. As such, Sushang firmly believes in the philosophies: be eager to help those in need, and do one good deed a day and reflect on oneself 3 times a day, leading her to busy days helping others. Character story part 1. O jade gate so bright, O jade sky so flight, starskips weave through the grand fair and tourists flock to the sky gate. Anyone traveling in or out of the Lofu could see a vast gate when looking up, where a spatial membrane twirls like a torrent. The gate stands alone with no walls and amidst the ships coming and going. It is a grand sight to see. The sky gate is called the Jade Gate and its entrance to the Zhanzhou Delves. Below the gate, travelers stream inside on their way into the Lofu. Among them is a young girl wearing a peach-colored dress, likely 16 or 17 years old, but difficult to judge her true age as a Zhanzhou native, nor could anyone guess what strange forces helped her hold that enormous greatsword in her hand. So I'm gonna be honest, this doesn't look like a peach dress, it looks more like a whitish, bluish dress. Could just be the lighting. At 2 feet and 1 inch long, it's very unusual. Despite being wrapped in white cloth, it still looks like an antique, yet it is a true weapon as the edges on both sides of the blade are as thin as Zada wings, sharp enough to even cut a strand of hair. People come to stare at the soldier girl, raising their eyebrows, but the girl seems to be accompanied by worry, merely frowning in annoyance as she mutters, "How strange. Mother taught me how to chant this mantra so that I could focus. Why isn't it working now?" Without waiting for her to utter any more obscure words, a Vijayadhara man at the custom raised his hand and waves the girl over. "Next, please!" The girl is startled and grits her teeth tightly, but she has to bite the bullet and steps forward. "Gold can be melted, but an oath," the girl says sternly to the Vijayadhara man. "Gold can be melted, but an oath cannot be broken," the Vijayadhara man blankly replies. "This is the customs office. What oath? Name, origin, reason for travel, just give me these." She's dumbfounded and figures she'd gotten her Lofu anecdote wrong. Helpless, she could only pick up her 4-square mirror and respond. Name Sushang, personal belongings, one Zhuanyan sword, origin. How do you write Yao Jing again? So she got rudely interrupted there. Character story part 2. It has been some time since Sushang answered the call of the Lofu Cloud Knights. She keeps herself busy patrolling the streets but never runs into any criminal activity, which leaves her even more annoyed and angry. In the end, she has no choice but to practice sword training and listen to storytelling in her spare time. These boring days stretch on endlessly. One day, she's lying on the table at the Sleepless Earl, waiting for the storyteller to get prepared and tell his tale of the Lofu's High Cloud Quintet. But before the gavel could fall, her Cloud Knight peer bursts through the door screaming out, "Sushang! Come now! The Outworld is making trouble again!" After hearing the shout, her eyes widen instantly and she quickly picks up her greatsword to rush to the scene. Upon arrival, she sees a red-haired woman performing a sword-swallowing and fire-breathing which sends the crowd into hysterics. Before long, this woman is somehow pulling out a green granite slab, determined to perform a smashing boulder-on-chest trick. "Stop! The traffic here has always been a problem. This isn't your darn circus, okay? Sushang shouts out sternly, stealing her stance as she heaves her Yuan sword and points it at the woman. The woman notices her lack of stability and stays calm, sidestepping her before spinning the fire stick once more to create astonishment. I'll leave then out of respect, says the redhead loudly, and with a wave of her hand, the blunt end of the redhead's spear stabs straight towards Sushang's clenched hands. Sushang backs away a pace, whereupon the woman unexpectedly takes several round objectives out of her pouch, smashing them onto the ground to send smoke and fire in every direction, causing an incessant sound of explosions. When Sushang comes to, she realizes that the woman has disappeared. What the? Was that firecrackers? This outworlder cannot be underestimated. Next part, character story part 3. It seems to be a letter written to her mom and dad, by Sushang on October the 21st. It seems like they in this universe are using the same months as we are, but there is no year written here. How have you been? I've been fighting alongside the Cloud Knights on Alofa for some time now, as per your request, so that's something to report. I think I should share it here with the both of you. In my opinion, the most important event lately should be me independently handling someone dangerous without relying on anyone else. This outworlder always goes around making trouble and always packs lots of explosives, threatening public safety, but this person is forced into the vicissitudes of life. Inspired by me, she decides to turn over a new pace, and now we're even close friends. I also follow your advice and continue to practice swordcraft every day. I feel like I've been making great progress. If I can go home and show you two, I think you'd be pleased with my progress. I remember back when I set off that you asked me not to be too whimsical and train myself with the army. Well, now I've practiced a lot here, I'm gradually becoming more mature. I still have so much to learn, but I can look after myself now. So you both don't have to worry about me. Her characters respond. The day after, on October 22, Suyi responds to Sushang. Seems like the way that letters are distributed with cranes is actually a really good system if it goes that quickly. Reading your letter is almost as good as seeing you again in person. The two of us are safe and sound, so don't worry about us. As for your recent situation you described in your letter, we understand and are deeply gratified. In addition, we've added some new instructions here and hope you're able to make an effort with these. Firstly, when making friends, you should consider if they are good or bad, Sushang. You're now old enough for courtship, but you still don't understand how unpredictable and dangerous the world can be. Your collusion with hoodlums has worried and aggrieved us. Straightforward, trustworthy, and knowledgeable people are good and should make good friends, but expedient, soft, and flattering people are no good and should be avoided. Secondly, don't strive to achieve grandiose things. We know you've always been anxious about justice, but your letter seems to have fact mixed in with fiction, or at the very least be greatly exaggerated. An old saying in Jiangsu goes, as reputation is never easily gained, so glory cannot be coincidence. It's not good to make achievements and then boast about them. Keep in mind, we Jiangsu people live forever, so fleeting fame and fortune pass through our fingers into the sands of time. It's why you need to build up a strong foundation and focus on the practical, being meticulous and careful as if skating on thin ice. One slip and you'll get into trouble, fall into the grasps of Mara, and bear the consequences for life. P.S. Keep your sword sharp every day and don't forget to recite your blade swara to focus your spirit. The mind is the basis of martial arts, and when your mind gets refined into the formulas, you can know that the sword is nothing but another crutch to rely on. Grass, wood, stone, bamboo, and the alike can all make swords. Follow your heart and energies freely. It will take many a day yet for you to eventually tame your genre of sword. P.P.S. You made a lot of writing errors, Sushang. Please read more books while you're off duty, and it's look after myself, not looking after myself. The looking after myself thing I corrected automatically. But yes, looking after myself is what she wrote actually in her letter. And the last character for this video will be Moze. Moze is with Fei Zhao, one of the characters you meet on the Jiangsu Lufu. He works for Fei Zhao. I was going to say Xin Zhao, that's a different character. Character details. A shadow guard of the Yaojing, Moze is taciturn and solitary, always acting on his own. As an expert in intelligence services and other operations that must remain covert, Moze rarely shows himself before others. The moment he reveals his blade usually spells doom for his enemies. He commands a vast wealth of assassination techniques coupled with an extraordinary obsession for orderliness and cleanliness. Character Story Part 1. Merciful of Sanctus Medicus, now listen to us. Swallow this. Not only will your illness be cured, but you shall become no different to a long-life species. You shall live a long life. He tries to swallow the medicine, but does not dare inhale. He has no idea how many more times he would have to endure this suffering. The thick liquid passes through his esophagus like he is swallowing needles. A powerful urge to vomit crushes his entire chest. Swallow it. Do not spit it out. This is medicine. His body is also echoing this sentiment. Swallow it. Swallow it. Swallow it. Swallow it and you will never have to face the threat of wild beasts. Never again will you fall into the gaping bloody jaws of fear. Swallow it and your body shall no longer be powerless. Never again will you have to stand by and watch your companions die. Swallow it. As his organs and flesh begin to consume the medicine, a strange power begins to course through him. He yearns to gasp for air, but the sensation of being devoured and torn that spreads from his abdomen down his limbs makes him feel suffocated. Endure it, just like before, if he can just endure it. He can no longer make a sound, only his body is conversing with him. Endure it, he will then no longer be the orphan abandoned by his village in the wilderness. Endure it, then every word he speaks will be answered and he will no longer be alone. Endure it. Moze, how do you feel? Very good, seems like you withstood it once again. Keep holding on, don't be afraid, all of your ailments will be eliminated. When that time comes, you can do whatever you please. Hunt the beasts of the wild, protect your companions, live a long and healthy life. When your body is completely healed, you will obtain a whole life, you will become our true family. When that time comes, we must carry on each other's wills. Who knew that one has to bear so much pain to finally find their family? It hurts. He can no longer take it. The sound of agony finds its way through the cracks in his gritted teeth. However, the person by his side simply says, Unity of Discipuli Medicus, the immortality's true path. Past this trial, and safety and victory would mean life. The mercy of Sanctus Medicus. No one cares what he has to say, so he slowly grows accustomed to not talking. This feels to me like an orphan got taken in by a group and they're taking advantage of the orphan not being able to go anywhere else than where he is right now. Character Story Part 2. General, report. 117 of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus have been captured and will be handed over to the Ten Lords Commission for imprisonment. However, this young man has likely suffered torture with their medicines. Look. As he hides himself in the shadows, the woman being referred to as the General walks towards him. She'd clearly already noticed his presence. When that time comes, we must carry on each other's wills. The voice that resounds in his mind is devoid of emotion, yet day after day of being exposed to it caused him to raise his dagger at once. However, in the blink of an eye, the dagger comes crashing to the ground. You wish to kill me? You killed my family. He notices a momentary unease in the eyes of the fox-eared woman. You count them as family. They saved me. They are the only reason I am alive. She lets go of the boy and shakes her head. I see you know nothing. Never mind. Someone will come to plan a home and life for you. Just follow them and you will be fine. As she turns to leave, the boy stays crouched on the floor, simply staring at her back. He knows this may be the final chance. He picks up the dagger from the ground, jumps high into the air from behind her and lunges forward. A fine attack! She praises him. This time the dagger does not fall to the ground as it ends in the woman's hands. However, he does not give up. He dodges left and right, even he gnaws at the woman's hand when that failed. It's not polite to bite people, you know. Don't worry about me. Stand down. This child reminds me of how I was in the Burleson war camp. The woman does not fight back. She simply dodges his assaults. The young man is panting and out of breath, yet still desperately seeking a break in her defenses. They stand in a stalemate. How about this? You can come back with me. The woman pulls out a strale and hands it to the young man. I'll make a deal. Come with me, and you can challenge me whenever you please, until the day that your vengeance is successful. What do you mean? He asks. Well, if you come with me, you can kill me anytime you like. Even the surrounding verdant knights were stupefied by her words. Of course, until the day you kill me, you must do as I tell you. You will eat 3 square meals every day, study, learn martial arts. Oh, and you will shower daily. The young man swallows a heavy gulp. What about after I kill you? The woman was caught off guard for a moment before erupting into loud laughter. Well, then naturally you will be free to do whatever you please. See, as I told you, this is Fei Zhao reacting to him. She was one of the people that escaped from the bursting camps. The other part is unlocked at level 60. I don't have him leveled up very much because I haven't used him at all. Character story part 3. Who are you? He says nothing, but people who are staring deaf in the eye tend to get chatty. I know, you're Fei Zhao's shadow guard. I'm right, aren't I? You've spent your whole life working in the shadows doing things that should never see the light of day. How about I give you a chance? My master wants to know if the rumor of Fei Zhao having Borisin blood is true. If we can reach an agreement, then we can take down Fei. Things are as he had expected, so he brings his mission to a swift end. This is his duty as a shadow guard. There is no consideration for right or wrong. His actions are motivated only by orders. This is because, to him, each successful mission is an opportunity for revenge. For every successful mission you will earn 1 strale. 1 strale will buy you forgiveness after each assassination attempt. He was once concerned that he would not be able to get close to Fei Zhao, yet he was assigned as Yao Jing's shadow guard and followed by her side at all times. His assassination attempts were never successful, but through them he had mastered the art of vanishing and reappearing like a ghost. This blade that strikes from the shadow is not only aimed at the general of the Yao Jing, but also the enemies of the Jianzhou Yao Jing. He is the omnipresent shadow. Are you the crow-feathered weirdo? Another mission complete. Sitting on the ground, the child timidly asks. They say the crow-feathered weirdo beats up bad guys, punishes evil and fights for good, but the clothes he wears are so dark that no one can ever see him. You're so strong and your clothes are so dark, so thank you for saving me. Punish evil and fight for good? This has never been his motive. He just happens to save the boy while carrying it out one of his missions. However, he has indeed become used to concealing himself within the shadows and keep a watchful eye on all ongoings, not letting anything pass him. In the sparkling eyes of the child in front of him, he can see himself clearly in his umbro clothes. He walks in darkness and stands in the darkness. The crow-feathered weirdo. The shadow guard. They are all parts of who he is. Part 4. Unlocked at level 80. The Fuxian healer half covers his face as he looks at the scene before him with great empathic concern. Countless eyes, ears, tongues, teeth, limbs, and fur are sprouting from and falling off of the bodies in front of them as they are experiencing this final suffering and pain. For the first time in forever, Moze feels a little uncomfortable, not only because of the scene before him, but because it reminds him of his blurred memories of the past. The mercy of Sanctus Medicus, life without bounds, old age never coming, the dead revitalizing. A crowd of Sanctus Medicus disciples huddles together. Though one of them is heavily wounded, those around them simply continue to murmur those familiar words. The divine traces of abundance shall heal your body. Quick, drink this. Suffering is temporary. You shall have a full life once more. You will not die in this moment. In a flash, the speaker collapses to the ground. The black-clad shadow guard appears in the light before them and stands solemnly. Silence cannot conceal the murderous rage that once again wells up inside of him. These people are no longer people. They feel no pain. What about you, though? With wounds like those, are you going to tell me you feel no pain? The Fuxian healer sprinkles powder on his wounds and chatters away as usual. We were originally here for reconnaissance. I told you we had a large force ready for backup. Why did you go ahead and take action? He does not say a word, simply looking down at the sharp, blood-coat dagger in his hands. After the years, through each and every mission he had completed, he had long since come to understand just what the former family of his was. However, he refuses to think about it in depth, nor would he acknowledge that his view had changed from all those years ago, because if he did, what meaning would his vengeance and their vow have? Does that hurt? He still refuses to speak. The Fuxian healer decides to speed up his movements, wrapping his wounds in gauze and casually pressing down a little too hard. Ow! If it hurts, then say it out loud. What good does enduring your pain do? Just seeing you like this is agony for me. Moze nods. He has become accustomed to not speaking, but also to having people speak on his behalf. It's a sad story, really. I really like Moze's character. The way that it like shows how a kid is going from growing up thinking one thing to growing up and realizing another thing. And I think the only reason why he doesn't like telling Fei Zhao that he changed his mind, that his revenge is honestly nothing, I think the only reason why he's not telling her is because if he did, would he still be allowed to hang around? Would he still be part of the Yaojing? Or would she just drop him at the side of the road? Or, you know, I think he's just scared of losing what he has right now. While if he did tell her, it might actually surprise him, you know? Either way, I'm going to leave it here. I will read the other 3 characters next time. They are 3 characters I do not own, so I will have to read them from the wiki entirely. They're Seele, Dr. Ratio, and Boot Hill. Honestly, Dr. Ratio is one of the characters that you sometimes see walking around with that mask on. White mask, as if a statue. Thank you for being here though. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have anything that you would like me to read, or have an idea, or if you wrote something yourself and you want to read, like have me read it, just leave it in the comments. Please leave a like. I hope you have a nice evening, nice night, nice morning, nice day. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye!